Here we go with Sunflower then. This is the original colourway. We've got another couple of very beautiful versions here that you can see. So however you want to make it, whatever colour you choose to make it in, it's a really beautiful motif. It does present a new challenge. It's offset, so it's not symmetrical, it's diagonal. But do not worry, because we'll go through all of it together. The way this is constructed, we're going to start by making the flower, then the smaller stems, and these larger stems are actually made sort of separately and joined, and I'm going to go through that really slowly with you. You'll see on the diagram that there is a lot of instruction on which bit you're doing first, and so it can be a bit confusing, but we'll go slowly. And it will help if I sort of point out as we go which bit you're making. All right, so that's how we're going to work things. Let's get started. Right, we're going to start Sunflower here in the centre, obviously, in the same way we've started lots of the others, which is with 4 chain. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And we're going to join that into a ring. Now, we have covered the making a neat ring sort of ad nauseum, really, in other videos, so if it's okay we will just skip along here, but do go back and have a look at the making a neat ring video if you need to focus on that again. I'm moving straight onto the foundation round, which is basically filling this up with trebles. I've made 3 chain there, which is going to count as my first treble, and then I'm going to make 15 treble into the ring. Okay, so this is 14, this is 15. So with that starting 3 chain, which counts as our first treble, we've got 16 posts going around there now. And I am going to join with a slip stitch into the 3rd chain at the beginning to close the round. And when I give that little tail a tug at the back, it does close it almost all the way up. If you want that completely closed, you can sew the tail around the end, around the centre, and pull it tight just to close that all the way up. Okay, so I'm going to fasten off there and we will move straight on to round 1. Okay, I'm not sewing my ends in yet. I'm going to sew them in after a couple more rounds. It's got a 3 round section for this right at the beginning. That's just me. You can do the right thing and sew it in as you go if you like. So on round 1 I'm using Rose. If you're working the same colourway, you'll be using the Rose Recreate yarn, and what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be joining our yarn between stitches. So if you look at the motif here, you can see the sort of the V of each of those stitches going around. That's because we're making the stitches between the trebles, not actually into the top of them. Let me show you what I mean. So if I just sort of pull this so you can see very definitely the gap between the posts, that's where I'm going to put my hook, and that is where I'm going to make the stitches. So I'm going to put my hook through, pull up a loop and secure it with a chain. That's not going to count as my first stitch, that's just securing the yarn. So I'll go into the same space and make my double crochet. We are working UK terminology here, and I'm just going to do that all the way around. Just make a double between every single post all the way around. Okay, and here's our last one, and I am going to just remove that first little strand that we made when we joined our yarn. Move that to the back. We don't need that now, and then it doesn't sort of show, you can see, can't you? And I'm going to put a slip stitch into the top of that very first double crochet to join. Now you'll see that my work is cupping slightly. It's coming up together at the moment, or coming up to the centre. That's completely normal, don't worry about it. It will certainly correct itself very shortly. Whoops. Okay, as these are quite simple rounds, I'm going to carry on, and on round 2 we'll be working avocado if you're working the same colourway as I am here, which is the original. And for round 2, all we're going to be doing is putting 2 half trebles into every stitch all the way around. But let's have a little look at joining the yarn in. So I'm just going to choose any stitch and pull up a loop just like I did just now. Secure it, that's one chain, and I'm going to make another chain, and that is actually going to count as my first half treble. So I'm going to go and put another half treble into the same stitch. All right, so there's 2 in that one now, and that's all I'm going to do all the way around. And just a reminder again, we are working UK terminology. So 2 half trebles into every stitch all the way around. Okay, here come the last 2, and yes, the ends have magically disappeared. I've actually sewn them in. So I will close again with a slip stitch into the top of the first stitch there. And just to finish these sort of simple early rounds, round 3, we are going to just put a round of double crochet. So 1 into every stitch all the way around. And I'm going to be working with copper because that is the original colourway. So again, very simple round, you don't really need to see me do that, but we'll just do a quick joining again just so you can remember. So hook through any stitch, pull up a loop and secure it with a chain, and then I'm just going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch all the way around. All right, and that's all that's happening here on round 3. And so these are the sort of simple early rounds, and I'll just finish this off and we'll have a look at it. Okay, so back round to the beginning, and again I'm going to remove that little starting strand, move it to the back and close the round with a slip stitch into the top of the first stitch. Still cupping a little bit, but it will be absolutely fine. So there we are. Those are your foundation rounds and rounds 1, 2 and 3. So they're all nice straightforward rounds, straightforward stitches, just sort of very standard building out a circle from the center. So we will now move on.